All right, folks, here we are. First Switch section of the day. Some stuff that catches my eye immediately. Ooh, Luigi's Mansion 3. Easily a top 10 Switch game for me. Would love to have this in the collection. Ooh, also look at this one up here. We've got, it looks like some sort of an obscure indie title, Baldo. Looks to be some sort of an action-adventure game that I have never seen before, but I love that art style. Now, normally, I would just take these two games and go check out, but today, we're doing things a little bit differently. I'm also going to pick two games that I would never normally play. For example, Yum Yum Cookstar and the Doom Slayers collection. Really not a big horror guy. All right, folks, the poll has been created. The way that the game hunting is working today is that you guys, the subscribers, get to choose every single game that I collect. So while I'm really hoping that it's these two, there's really no telling and I have no control. And as these results roll in, folks, I'm gonna start looking around the rest of this store to see if I can find some video games to flip so that we can continue building our 250 game Switch collection for no money out of pocket. This is Mission Switch. All right, so folks, here in the PlayStation section, I just found our first flippable game right here in Space Jam. It's nice and complete, has a decent case, priced at $15, which is not too bad, and on Amazon, you can see right here, we'll get $26 after fees. And since that's an expected $11 profit, that's $11 to spend on whichever one of these you guys choose. Looks like the most expensive one out of these games is Doom at $50, so that's going to be my profit goal for this stop, and hopefully when I buy it, Game Exchange will be able to afford a vacuum. All right, so here's another one that probably won't surprise you guys a ton. This Avatar game, you know how the Avatar movie came out recently? Well, normally it goes for around $13, but because a ton of people are interested in this right now, on Amazon, I'll be able to get $32 after fees for a massive profit. That brings our Switch budget up to $30. So check this out, folks. This is something that I don't know if I've ever seen at a game store. They've got a ton of, looks like modded backlit Game Boy Advances with like reshells and everything. That is super cool. Also in the glass case up here, another thing that I spied is a bunch of Super Nintendo games and also a bunch of like first-party AAA kind of titles. The best one I think is probably Super Mario Kart at $25. For some reason right now that game is spiked on Amazon, and honestly it usually is. I'll be able to get $40 after fees for it, bringing our profit all the way up to $45. Ooh, and folks, as I just stepped around this way and looked at this side of the shelf, look what I spied right behind that level, this layer of discs over here is some hidden amiibos. Okay, I stand corrected. None of them are actually profitable. Oh, man! However, check this out, folks. The staff at this location has been super helpful, and they had all these sealed Switch games behind the counter that I didn't see before, as well as these over here. And one of the ones that I found was this Chicken Range Switch game, which I honestly don't know if I've ever seen before. And for $9 in sealed condition, I was pretty sure that would have some flip margin, and sure enough, look at that, after fees, $22 on Amazon. And folks, after scanning through the rest of the stack, I also found these two sealed copies of Splatoon 2, which will bring us $9 profit apiece. And with the addition of those Switch and Super Nintendo games, that brings our overall Switch budget up to $76, which is more than enough for any one of these you guys might have voted for. And I'd say it's about time to check on the results. All right, after 42 minutes, the results are in. Editor Riff, can I get a drum roll, please? We've got Luigi's Mansion by a landslide. 1.3 thousand votes. That is insane. So unfortunately, the other three will be left for another collector. Folks, I've got to say, I could not be more thrilled with your decision at this first stop. Luigi's Mansion, easily top 10 game for me on the Switch. And we even have $31 extra to spend at our next stop on Switch games, which I think could be kind of fun to try to do at a pawn shop. Folks, boy, do I have an announcement for you today. Ever since the beginning of Mission Switch, I wanted to create some kind of a product that would both celebrate the series and potentially help you guys with your own Switch collections at home. And today, I think I have done just that with the debut of the Game Boy-inspired Mission Switch multi-game Switch case. These bad boys hold not one, but 10 loose Switch games on the inside, and they are the exact dimensions of a regular Switch case, so they'll fit perfectly perfectly on your shelf with the rest of your collection. I'm really happy with how the design turned out. It's sort of a beautiful unity of both retro gaming and modern, and these are going to be available for the first time starting today until Wednesday in the Buy It Now section of our next Whatnot stream. The link to that is in the description as always, and the best part is our friends at Whatnot who are sponsoring this video even agreed to increase the new user sign-up bonus to $15, which is the exact cost of these cases. So if you've never used the platform before and you sign up with the link in the description, you'll be able to get one of these for just the cost of shipping. I'm honestly so tickled with how these have turned out. I really hope you guys are too, and they'll be available up until Wednesday when our live show happens. So I hope to see you guys there, and thanks again to Whatnot for sponsoring. I think in this stop, I am going to be looking for stuff to flip, but since we have a $31 budget for the poll purposes, I'm gonna look for the best 4 games at $30 or under and see what the heck we end up with. Okay, so it looks like this side over here is the new games and over here is the pre-owned, so I'll mostly stick over here. Peaky Blinders, not that interested. Party Arcade, I'm sure that's excellent. Oh man, Rabbids Party Legends. I really hate this franchise because these things just creep me out, but it is $30, so I feel like it should be on the list. What else do we have here? We've got Disgaea, which is also $29, which would be kind of interesting. I don't think I've ever played a Disgaea game. Don't really know what that is. Ooh, Final Fantasy X and X2 is interesting too. I do love these like combo kind of re-releases, and $25 for that seems pretty solid. Pokemon and Mario Golf both aren't the right price, but Arceus we have already anyway. This one though really caught my eye. Looking at the back cover, it seems like a really artistic game about like dealing with grief. Yeah, the more I look at it, the more I think I would just love to own this game, so I'm gonna put this one in the voting stack as well. And for the last one, it's honestly kind of slim pickings. There aren't a ton of well, actually, Nier Automata maybe? This is a franchise I haven't messed with at all. Ooh, it might be between that and Trials of Cold Steel 3, but I don't know, jumping into a series at number 3 might not be most optimal, so I think I'll go ahead and stick with Nier Automata. I'm gonna go ahead and post this poll on Instagram just for variety, and I guess we'll see if the people agree with me. I'm really hoping they pick this one, really hoping they don't pick this guy. And while we wait for those votes to come in, I'm gonna look around and see if I can find anything around here that's underpriced to flip to build our budget just a little bit. Looks like that one's a no. Same thing with this one. Dang, folks. Even Schoolgirl Zombie Hunter's let me down. Well, unfortunately, folks, not only have I failed as a reseller and been unable to find anything underpriced,
but I also have herpes.
But I'm also starting to get a little bit hangry, so I think we're gonna cut the poll off a little bit early. YouTuber's life too. That's funny. YouTubers don't have lives. Well, folks, after only a few minutes, here are the results of our prematurely ended poll. Unfortunately, Greece got 3rd place. Weirdly enough, Nier Automata took the victory by a decent margin. We only had maybe like 50 votes or so on this one. But I have to be honest, I'm not mad about this. Oh, that's a relief. It smelled like giving up on your dreams in there. So after using my pro member coupon, this game only ended up being $24, which is great because that still leaves us $7 in our Switch budget. But that also does mean that the next place that we go has to have enough flippable stuff if we want to build our budget for more collection games. And I think I have a good idea of where that should be. Also, folks, it happens to be day number 86 of giving Chipotle free advertising until they sponsor me. Chipotle, burritos so big they'll bust. Or you will. Okay, on the real though, the next stop I'm heading is called Book and Music Exchange. It's one of those used bookstores that also stocks used video games, and I got a hot tip from a subscriber that I met at GameStop that they may have a pretty solid limited run game selection, so I'm actually super stoked to check it out. Alright folks, so there's actually a really solid game selection here. I did find the regular Switch section. They've got, looks like about 10 titles here or so, but I believe back here in the glass cases is where we might find the higher end stuff. Okay, so it looks like right here we've got a bunch of loose stuff. Not as interested in that, although it doesn't look like those are the limited run titles he was talking about. Not really seeing them down here. Oh, there we are, folks. Okay, we got 4 of them. Knights of the Old Republic Wonder Boy, which we actually already have. I think we got that one at a convention station in Ohio, if you guys remember. A super rare game, Mutant Muds, and these are all sealed, by the way, except for Star Wars. And then of all things, Bubsy Paws on Fire limited edition. Looks like for pricing on these, we've got $50, $50, and $80. And I think what I'm gonna do for those three that I don't have is post a poll for our channel members, which I'm pretty sure we have like 10. So we'll see if we actually get any responses. All right, the poll is posted, and while we wait to see if anyone responds, I'm gonna start looking up a bunch of this stuff on Amazon and see if we can possibly get to that $80 budget mark, although that is a bit of a tall order. Well, folks, I do have to be honest with you. The pickings at this stop have been a bit slim. Because remember, we have a $7 budget, and what we're shooting for is $80 to be able to cover Mutant Muds. But when I scanned through all their PlayStation stuff, the best that I could find was a generously priced Digimon game. That'll be $13 in profit and bring us up to 20 bucks overall. I got really excited when I saw this Metroid Prime Trilogy for 100 bucks, because Amazon said I could get 185 after fees, but then I noticed that it's actually missing its slipcover, which makes a big difference for condition and value on Amazon. So I'm only going to factor in a very conservative $10 profit on that guy. So at this point, I decided to come on over to the DVD section and see what kind of profit I could rustle up here, and I ended up finding the Super Mario Bros. Super Show Volume 2, which I'm pretty sure is spiked because of the movie coming out. But I looked it up and it turns out it's both a slow seller and not actually profitable. But then I spied the complete Love Comes Softly DVD collection.
What the f did I do wrong?
This is a mature, family-friendly channel. I don't want to see any jokes about it in the comments. But as it turns out on Amazon, Love Comes Softly is actually pretty profitable. Now, that DVD set really did pique my interest, but as it turns out, prices are kind of all over the place on Amazon, so I'm only going to factor in $30 profit. And that puts us at a total Switch budget of $60, but there was one more game that really pushed me over the edge, and that was Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games for $60, which on Amazon will get me 140 after fees, which I would say makes this game a pretty stellar climax to this stop.
No.
Now, at this point, we've got an incredible $130 Switch budget, but the question is, did anyone respond to the poll? And here's the moment of truth, folks. Did anybody respond? Oh, 2 people! Folks, this is crazy. We actually have a 2-way tie. I did not expect this. Looks like it's between Bubsy and Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, so we didn't actually need the $80 after all. Folks, if you can't tell, I really did not anticipate having this problem. I think what I may have to do as a tiebreaker, as much as I just want to choose, I may have to ask the store clerk and see what he says. Excuse me, sir. Would you recommend Bubsy or Star Wars more for a Switch game?
Well, sir, as Fat Cowboy Ninja Nicolas Cage, I would probably say Star Wars.
Alright, cool, that's very helpful. Also, I love your shirt.
Why, thank you, son.
Well, folks, a few games and a beautifully titled DVD set later, we got the goods. I do have to give some credit where credit is due. I mean, you guys have picked stellar games through this whole video. I honestly envision this being a more antagonistic process of you guys wanting to mess up my collection as much as possible. But as far as I'm concerned, you guys are 3 for 3 right now. So folks, I don't really know how, but we're somehow coming up to our last stop of the day game exchange with an $80 Switch budget. I would guess we can come away with 2 more solid games in here.
Okay, this is driving me insane. I have noticed at some point in the video that the audio started sounding different, and it's been really hard for me to mix the audio. Caleb will be really quiet, and then he'll be really loud, and then I start looking closer and closer, and I'm messaging Caleb, what's going on? What's wrong? Why isn't this working? Caleb, as I go forward and look, your mic isn't on, you big doofus. Oh, and don't think I'm being mean. I own the same mic. Caleb, if it was on, guess what we'd see? We'd see that. You stinking dumb ding dong.
And by the way, I did just want to give you guys a little mustache update because I know I'm gonna get some cheeky hater hate comments up in here.
Ooh, Phoenix Resale looks like a pervert now. Ooh, Phoenix Resale looks like my dad who left when I was 10.
But I will have you guys know, believe it or not, when Erica saw it, she absolutely loved it. So it's gonna stick around for a while. Alright, so folks, we've got 80 bucks in our pocket, and it is up to you to figure out how to spend it at this relatively small Switch section, if we're being honest. I am seeing a good number of games that I don't have yet, including 3D All-Stars. They've got a couple copies. I would love to own Strikers. Unfortunately, another Rabbids game. Oh my gosh, I can't avoid these things. Ooh, I don't think we have Pac-Man World yet. It's only 28 bucks, and I loved this game as a kid. This would be, I would honestly love to take this one home. Superstars, I know I used to have, I can't remember if I have this one anymore. Not gonna lie, it's probably getting to the point that I need to catalog the collection. Fast and Furious is interesting. No. Ooh, Xenoblade is not one that I've ever played before. I'm honestly thinking maybe these four. Animal Crossing, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Oh, I didn't realize that was 3. Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Mario Strikers, which I secretly hope you choose. And Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, just because I don't know. Alright folks, the poll is posted and the votes are already coming in. I do have to say, of these three, I'm kind of okay with anything. I know that Strikers has been criticized a little bit for being lacking in features, but I just really want to try it. Erica and I played a little bit of Animal Crossing together like everyone in the world at the beginning of the pandemic, and Xenoblade Chronicles is a franchise that I've just honestly never played before, but would really love to. But since these guys are all in the $50 range, I want to do another poll of like $30 and under games from over here that are maybe a little bit like lesser known or more obscure. Pac-Man is perfect. Okay, it's not necessarily obscure, but you guys know what I mean. Like, I guess technically Big Brain Academy would probably be in there. Ugh. I feel obligated to include some stuff that I don't like in the polls, so we'll go ahead and put that up there too. Fast and Furious looks like is also in the exact same price bracket, so we'll go ahead and throw it up there with the others since it's complete. And as for the not that one, I really don't want that guy. No, too expensive, slightly too expensive. That's kind of interesting. Have we already gotten Sonic Mania though? I really need to start keeping track of this. Oh, just a little bit too expensive. That would be a great one. NASCAR, if I have to. Monster, oh wow. Monster Hunter Rise is $26 for the deluxe edition? Yes, please. All right, folks, so I think we have our finalists for the last poll of the day. I'm gonna throw this one up on Instagram and then take one more lap as we collect the results. Now, as far as what I would like to see picked, my order would probably be Pac-Man, then Monster Hunter, then Fast and Furious, then Big Brain, because let's face it, games like this make my brain hurt.
Access granted.
So I made my final round of the store, picked out a few games and a couple amiibos to flip, and finally it was time for the results to come in. Well folks, the results are in, and let's just say they are not the games that I necessarily would have picked, but I have no control. This is you guys' show, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick these games up, check out, edit a riff. Is it too much to ask for a second drum roll of the day?
Oh my boy, it's never too much.
So folks, even though they weren't necessarily the games I would have picked, I have to admit, I'm very impressed with the choices that you made today. If you want to see me continue the Mission Switch Challenge, working towards 250 games by trying to find the single best Switch game of all time, check out this video right down here, and I will catch you guys on the flip.